The rain came earlier than expected. The skies turned gray, and the wind started to howl over the village hills. Yunus, a 12-year-old boy, worked with his father Reza in the attic, fixing a damaged roof. Rain was already starting to leak through. Reza was anxious. Their home was old. If they couldn't fix the roof before the full storm hit, everything inside could be destroyed, including their memories. Across the dirt road, Maryam, a lonely elderly woman, stared through her window. She had lived alone ever since her grandson Sammy died in a storm 5 years ago. No one knew what truly happened, and she never talked about it. Her only company now was a worn-out rosary and faded photographs. The radio warned of a severe storm. Zara, Reza's wife, lit a lantern and prayed silently. Yunus ran to the barn for the tarp and rope. Inside the dark barn, he heard strange noises. The shadows moved. His heart pounded. Just when he thought someone was there, a cat leapt out. He laughed nervously and grabbed what they needed. Back at the house, Reza shouted for help. They tried to secure the tarp, but the wind had grown angry. Thunder clapped like a warning from the sky. Suddenly, one of the roof beams snapped. They barely escaped falling debris. Outside, Maryam watched, her eyes full of sorrow. "Please, not again," she whispered. Reza knew they needed help. He sent Yunus to their neighbor, Farhad, a kind but reclusive man who once helped build half the houses in the village. Yunus ran in the rain, feet sinking in mud. He knocked on Farhad's door. No answer. He was about to leave when Farhad opened the door slowly. His face was gaunt. "The roof might collapse," Yunus said. Farhad looked toward Reza's house. Something flickered in his eyes, maybe guilt, maybe fear, but he nodded. Meanwhile, Maryam lit a candle for her grandson. Her mind wandered to the night Sammy died. No one believed her when she said she heard voices that night, warnings in the wind. Signs, she had called them. Senility, others had said. Back in Reza's attic, Farhad arrived and helped secure the beam. But as they worked, Reza slipped. Farhad caught him just in time. "You saved me," Reza said, surprised. Farhad didn't respond. He looked outside again. "The storm's not here yet," he murmured. "This is just its whisper." Rain slammed the village. Zara tried to keep the house dry. Buckets lined the floor. Reza and Farhad worked silently upstairs. Yunus, curious and brave, slipped away across the road to Maryam's house. He knocked. Maryam opened the door and looked at him carefully. "Why are you here?" she asked. "I saw your window. It's cracked. The rain will come in." She stared at him. The last child who crossed her threshold never came back. But something in Yunus's eyes reminded her of Sammy. She let him in. They sat together in silence for a while. Then she surprised him by asking, "Do you believe in signs?" Yunus shrugged. "My mom says God sends signs to those who listen." Maryam nodded. "Then maybe you're here for a reason." Lightning flashed. The power blinked out. The wind howled so loud it seemed to speak. That night, Maryam told Yunus a story. About how 5 years ago, on a night like this, Sammy had tried to help an injured bird stuck on their roof. She had warned him not to go. The wind had whispered warnings. She heard voices in it. Sammy laughed and went anyway. He never came back. They found him the next day, lifeless, at the bottom of the hill. No one knew why he fell. They said it was an accident. "But I know he was pushed," she whispered. Yunus shivered. "By who?" "Not by a man," she said. "By something else. Something in the storm." Back at Reza's home, Zara dreamed of a bird trapped in a cage made of rain. She woke up in a sweat. The wind slammed the house again. A new leak started, in the nursery. Morning came, but the clouds stayed. Reza's back hurt from working all night. Yunus returned, eyes full of questions. He didn't tell his father about Maryam's story. Instead, he quietly placed small stones on the windowsill, something Maryam had taught him. "To keep the wind from carrying away your thoughts," she had said. Farhad came again with tools. This time, he stayed longer, talking softly with Reza. "I had a son," Farhad finally said. "I didn't know," Reza replied. "He drowned. I should have been watching." That silence between them said more than any words. Later that day, Yunus visited Maryam again. She gave him an old scarf, Sammy's. It was warm, soft, and still smelled faintly of flowers. Take it, you're braver than you think, she said. As the second night approached, Zara felt something strange. A quiet presence in the house. Not frightening, but watching. The attic was quiet. Too quiet. She went up to check and found the candle out. But it had not burned down. The wick was wet. Downstairs, Eunice saw Maryam across the road, standing outside her home, praying into the wind. Suddenly, she looked directly at him. Her eyes widened. Tell your father not to climb the ladder tonight, she shouted. But the wind stole her voice. Eunice ran home and shouted the warning. Reza paused, foot on the first rung. Eunice grabbed him. Please, Baba, wait until morning. Reza looked into his son's eyes and nodded. That night, the ladder broke on its own. They found it shattered beneath the tree. The rain was a monster now. The whole village huddled indoors. Water entered every crevice. The earth itself seemed to groan. Maryam lit candle after candle. She wept openly. Why are you crying? Eunice asked from the window. Because he listens, she said. And when he listens, we must speak carefully. Back in the house, Zara collapsed from exhaustion. Reza held her hand. Eunice prayed for the first time, not because he was told, but because he needed to. He asked for the house to hold, for his mother to rest, for his father to be safe. He whispered thanks for Maryam, too. And something strange happened. The wind paused, just for a moment, and in that moment, all three of them, Eunice, Reza, and Zara, felt a warmth pass through the room. As if someone unseen had passed by, brushing their shoulders gently. Morning came quietly. No thunder, no rain, just the soft sound of water dripping from trees. The roof held. The walls stood. Zara woke and felt stronger. Reza smiled, weak but grateful. Eunice opened the window and saw sunlight pushing through the clouds. He ran to Maryam's house. But her door was open. And Maryam was gone. On the table, a single candle, still burning. A letter beside it, to the boy who listened. Thank you. That day, the villagers helped Reza finish fixing the roof. Farhad brought more wood. People came with bread, blankets, and love. The village, once quiet and distant, felt alive again. Because sometimes, storms bring more than destruction. Sometimes, they bring people back together. Weeks passed. Eunice often stared at the hill where Maryam used to walk. She never returned. They searched for her. No trace. Only her scarf, once Sammy's, now his, remained with Eunice. Then one morning, he saw something on the tree outside. A small bird's nest. Inside it, 2 tiny eggs. He smiled. Farhad now visited regularly. Zara started teaching again. Reza joined the mosque for prayer after many years. The cracks in the roof were fixed. But some things, like faith and love, never break, only bend. And sometimes, what we lose comes back in another form. Spring returned with gentle rain and soft light. This time, the village didn't hide. Children laughed and ran barefoot through puddles. Women carried fresh bread through the streets. Even the trees, once bowed by the storm, stood proudly in bloom. Reza and Zara sat on their newly repaired porch. The roof, once near collapse, now stood firm and proud, a symbol of their strength, of how they had weathered not just the rain, but the loneliness, the loss, and the fear. Farhad had become like family. He brought nails and stories, coffee and comfort. Where once he avoided people, he now taught the children how to carve wood and fix fences. Grief grows smaller when shared, he told Reza one afternoon. That's what I learned in your attic. One day, while playing in Maryam's old garden, Eunice found something beneath the soil. A rusted tin box, sealed tightly. Inside, old photos, dried lavender, and a small, hand-stitched notebook. The cover read, "For the one who listens." The pages were filled with Maryam's memories. Of Sammy, of her dreams, of the signs she saw in the wind. But most of all, her prayers, for peace, for forgiveness, and for someone to carry her light forward. Eunice read every page with reverence. That night, he brought the book to his parents. I want to plant flowers in her garden, he said. She gave us more than we knew. Zara smiled through tears. She gave us you back. With the villagers' help, the old house was repaired and painted. Where once it was dim and silent, now laughter echoed in its halls. They turned it into a community library and prayer space. Maryam's garden was replanted, roses, herbs, jasmine, and olive trees. Over the door, they placed a wooden sign, carved by Farhad, "The House of Light," in memory of Maryam and Sami. People came from nearby villages to visit, to read, to heal. Even during storms, no one was afraid anymore. Because this house stood as a reminder that every storm ends, that love never truly disappears, and that sometimes, the most broken homes can become the holiest places. Yunus, now older, sits by the same tree where he once tied the ribbon. He holds a notebook, his own this time. Children gather around him, listening to the story of the storm. Of Maryam, of the ladder that broke, of the whisper in the wind that saved them. And when he finishes, he says, "Listen closely. The wind doesn't always bring fear. Sometimes, it brings voices. And if your heart is quiet, you might hear someone still loving you." Behind him, Zara brings tea. Reza laughs with Farhad. A new baby cries in someone's arms. And above them, the clouds part. Not to warn, but to bless. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.